Hello and welcome everyone to an Unlocking Fun in Google Earth. And today we're just going to take a look back and do another recap of the caps that Google Earth put over Hollow Earth. And you can see the editing issue they have right here. Everything is changing. When you go from here, there, this whole area widens out here, and over here, this area gets a bit bigger. I'm sure all these areas get a little bit bigger. And you get a little closer, and there's another edit. Greenland moves. Everything gets shifted. Now, I was just looking at this and thinking about mountains because that's the next thing I wanted to touch on. And I was looking at Canada. Canada looks so scarred from so many winters, right? It's just lakes everywhere from all of the ice and snow that constantly is over Canada. It goes as far as Minnesota and Wisconsin and a bit of Michigan, right? And you'd think that this kind of damage would be prevalent and very noticeable on the other side of the planet, right? In Russia. But it's not really. It's just like up here a little bit. And that's pretty much it. There's not much damage in Russia. But they seem to be fairly close to the top. Like, equally. They're equally as close to the top as the other. Right? When I started looking around over here, let's go over Europe, and what do you know? Finland, Switzerland, Norway, and this part of Russia here is very damaged from the snow and ice. So I started comparing that to the ice in Canada. You can see it up top here. So we got the damage down here in Norway, Switzerland, and Finland, and we got the damage up here in Canada, which puts the center, like, of the top of the Earth right about here, right over where Greenland is. And we know already that Greenland is smaller than they depict it. From some research, you guys do some research on actual map sizes. Greenland isn't that big. It just, on all maps, they make Greenland so much bigger than it actually is. And I think that they do the same thing here in Google Earth. And I don't want to get too far into it, but this, the fact that Greenland is like smack dab in the middle, like right here, is in the middle of where the ice affects land, where the ice caps are, is the reason why Trump wanted to buy Greenland. He wanted to get us closer to Hollow Earth, and I believe he will succeed in getting Greenland in this upcoming 4 years. I hope he does too, because that would be a great step. We landed on the moon, that was great. Nobody really can go there except for astronauts. But if we open up Hollow Earth and we're able to go inside there, pretty much everyone would be able to go inside. That's a big eggshell waiting to be cracked, a whole new world waiting to be opened. And I think Trump could be the one to make it happen. But that wasn't all I wanted to talk about. Last time, I was talking about, well, the last thing I ended on were mountains. And I was talking about how some of the scars of Earth were the continents being pushed apart, and you can see it strong here, where it's just a big swell of landmass getting pushed. It looks like it got pushed away from the center over here, where it got cracked, right? And mostly mountains are coming from that, I believe. There are mountains all over the coastline, especially in Mexico. Mexico is just a giant mountain range. And then over here in Chile and Peru, the whole coastline is a mountain range. And if you watched Top Gear and their Bolivia episode, they go from the heart of Bolivia down to Chile, and when they're driving to the coast, the altitude that they're driving on just keeps climbing up into the 2,000s of feet until they reach the coast, and they have to drive down a giant cliff in order to get to the beach, I think over here. And that's just crazy. But that's not the only way mountains are formed, because, yeah, we got some push over there, and we got some push over here creating mountains and islands. But we also got this giant crater over here that pushed this over here and created these mountains. And all the damage here. And of course, the drop zone. Now, I have a theory that mountains aren't just rocks that are getting pushed up from tectonic plates. It's not that I don't believe in tectonic plates, but if tectonic plates were pushing these mountains up, I believe that mountains would look so much more different. I believe mountains are like living things. They're like basic plants, but they're huge. And one of the reasons I think that is, if I can find it, it's one of these mountains, it's this one. Show yourself, there we go. When some mountains explode, they don't shoot lava, they don't just spew lava. They shoot giant pillars of ash that go around the world. It just floats around the world. And Mount Everest was the most recent one doing that. It blew up and blew off the side of the mountain. And the ash floated around the world, I think like 1.5 times or something like that. And I think that's part of the way mountains can be created. And the reason I'm thinking this is we gotta go all the way to Africa to see Mount Kilimanjaro. Is this Kilimanjaro? That doesn't look like Kilimanjaro. Where is he? There, I believe. There we go. Alright, let's take a look at Kilimanjaro. This is a giant and beautiful mountain. The biggest mountain. Not the tallest, because Everest is the tallest, but Kilimanjaro, god dang, is the biggest. And if you notice, it's got a similar look to St. Helens. A flat-ish top. And one of the sides here, right here, looks like it was blown off. Flat top, one side blown off. so what? So, look at the side that was blown off. Not too close. It looks like it was going this way, right? Ooh, stop. So let's track that. And look, there's some mountains over here that come up. Mountains around here. Just little ones. And we go zoom out quite a bit more because the ash from St. Helens went around the world. We zoom out and there are what look to be mountains coming up in the ocean, just off coast. I think that's basically when mountain spews off ash, it's spreading seeds, kind of. Not seeds as we know them. And mountains are not plants like we know them, obviously. They're a different kind of living being, I believe, that we don't understand in science quite yet. Which kind of brings me to this thing over here. Some of you guys might be familiar with it. It is the Devil's Tower in Wisconsin. Now there are other things like this, and like Utah and plateaus in